I got a motel room at the Motel 6, I think it was, to stay there for the night, and then in the morning I would get on the bus. The last time I used was at 4:36 in the morning, so I decided for whatever reason to go to the gas station and get food. And it's 4:30 in the morning, downtown Fort Smith, Arkansas. It's not downtown New York City. It's not downtown Chicago. It's downtown Fort Smith, Arkansas. There's no one out except tweakers and dealers, unless you work third shift. Don't come at me in the comments. Let's just let that one slip through, okay? So there's no one out. And for some reason, my co-defendant and I decided to go to the gas station at 4 o'clock in the morning, and we did have a strict rule against that. Like, we didn't sell in the middle of the night. Like, we didn't leave the house until the sun came up. Meth sucks, and it makes you do stupid things. So we decided that we were gonna go to the gas station. And as soon as we pulled up to the gas station, I saw a cop across the street. And I told baby daddy, he's gonna pull you over. He's going to pull you over. And baby daddy's like, nah, it's fine, you're paranoid. And I'm like, I promise you I'm not. I'm not green, homeboy. He's pulling us over because it's not 4:30 in the morning in New York City, Chicago. Like, it's 4:30 in the morning in Fort Smith, Arkansas. There is nothing but us. There's no one else out. He's pulling us over. He is pulling us over. So we go in the gas station and we get random stuff. I think I got cereal, Milky Way, a soda, we got cigarettes. And the whole time I'm walking around this gas station, looking across the street, just every 2 seconds, looking across the street. And I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna pull us over. And I asked baby daddy to leave everything at this gas station, throw it away, put it in the freaking dumpster, like flush it down the toilet. I don't care about this stuff. Throw it out because we're going back to prison, bro. You know, and I'm trying to get through to him, but he's just out of his mind. Now remember, 3 days prior, he thought that I stole from him. So maybe somewhere in his mind, he thought I was setting him up to steal his stuff or whatever. I'm not exactly sure what he was thinking. All I know is that cop's pulling us over and he's not trying to hear it. And as soon as we got to the gas station, I looked out the gas station window and I saw a patrol car across the street. Now I know that there's no one around. He's gonna hit the lights. And a lot of you are like, why'd you get in the car, Jessica? Why did you leave the gas station? Why didn't you leave it there? Fam, I hear you. I hear you. So when I saw the officer, I asked my co-defendant, please leave. Anything you have here, please leave it here. It's not worth it, not a big deal. Now, let me take you back 3 days prior to this. We got into a fight, my co-defendant / baby daddy, and he thought I stole from him because, again, dope sucks. And, you know, he'd been up for a few days and thought that I stole from him because we lost a little bit of stuff. It was just a whole big dramatic scene. So now I'm saying, leave it at the gas station. They're going to pull us over. And in his mind, because he is also under the influence, he's like, oh, this bitch trying to set me up, like da-da-da. And I understand now, looking back, his reasoning for that. I'm not like dogging him or talking crap. I'm just trying to make you guys understand like what his mind was doing. That makes me very paranoid as well. So, you know, I was like, that cop's going to pull us over for sure. And he's like, and because I was high, I decided, fuck it. Guess we're going to jail today. And I don't understand why. Now, what I did not know at the time is there was an open investigation on me. The drug task force had been waiting to kick in our door. And they just saw this opportunity for us being out at 4 o'clock in the morning, driving around to pull us over. Or they saw us out and about. This was a good opportunity for them to just pull us over, light us up, take us to jail. So I get a moment of, fuck it, let's go. You want to go to jail today? Okay, let's go to jail today. Since you don't want to listen to me. And for whatever crazy reason, I was like, I'm going to prove you wrong, bro. Let's go, get in the car. Like, what? The cop gets behind us and baby daddy is hiding stuff and I'm chain smoking and I'm crazy and I just can't even believe this is happening. But I also knew this was happening and my mind is racing just a million miles an hour. As soon as we get in the car, I'm telling you guys all this for a reason. Hopefully this is making sense. As soon as we get in the car and I have that screw it moment, like I guess we're going to jail today. We get in, we pull out. Sure enough, the cop pulls right behind us and co-defendant is like this, leaned over in the car. He's putting stuff underneath the steering column. And my first reaction to that was, he sees you. You're literally in the, like leaning over like this. The first thing they're gonna do is go to the driver's side and search. I mean, it's just gonna happen. So I'm like yelling at him about it and I'm being like, ah, like I'm also chain smoking a cigarette like this, like, cause I'm going to jail. I'm like pounding them out and eating a Milky Way, which is weird. I hate them now, but that's what I would do on meth because I just needed sugar. I just needed that in my body because I was so depleted. I wouldn't eat or anything. So I was like pounding Mountain Dew, eating Milky Way, like, oh my God, right? Going crazy. And then the cop hits the lights and I'm just like, I'm texting everyone like jail Fort Smith, jail Fort Smith, jail Fort Smith. Cause in my mind, my mom's gonna put 2 and 2 together. That text makes perfect sense. I'm going to jail and I'm in Fort Smith. But I didn't have time to write a full sentence. I'm texting everyone. I'm texting my sister, my mom, my friends, people in Arkansas, people that could potentially bond us out, our clientele. I'm texting everyone. Jail Fort Smith, jail Fort Smith, jail Fort Smith. So cop comes to the car and it's just all bad. It's just all bad. You know, he knew that we were hiding stuff in that car. He knew it took us a minute to you know, pull over. He runs the name and within a few minutes, there is a lot of cops on scene. There is not just patrol officers, but there's narcotics unit is on scene because there was an open investigation on us. The cop doesn't come to the door and say, can I see your license and registration? No, he rips us out of the car. He puts co-defendant on one car, I'm on the other. They're yelling at us or whatever. And within maybe not even 3 minutes, other cars show up, the canine shows up, undercover shows up, DTF shows up. And it's this whole big dramatic scene. And now it's starting to make sense to me, like, oh, this is not just a traffic stop because we're out at 4 o'clock in the morning and we're going to jail for possession. This is so much bigger than I realized. So and I'm looking around and there's this one officer. He was not in a street uniform. He was not a street cop. He was a narcotics unit officer. He's got a vest and his badge. And I look at him and I'm like, I know him. I know him. He followed me around in Walmart. He was with me at that Thai restaurant a few weeks back. Like, I remember his face. I remember seeing him in all these different places. He was in a freaking unmarked car at this hotel when I told someone that I was with not to sell that night because I saw him. And I'm like, no, they can wait till later. I'm not selling it. Nope. And then the person that I was with decided, you're being paranoid. Let's sell it anyway. So even though I was like, the cops are here, other people that I was with was like, yo, chill. It's gonna be fine. Everything's fine. But over the course of 6 months, they built a case on us. I'm trying to put it all together. I'm also under the influence and really messed up. And I said, because I'm going to jail already, it's all mine. Now, it is my advice to you that just don't talk. Do not say a word, nothing. Don't answer them, okay? If you know you're going to jail and you're running around and you're caught up in that shit, like, don't say anything to them. But I was irate. I had been up for 3 or 4 days. I was under the influence. I was not in my right mind, but I'm like, it's all mine. Don't arrest him. Like, an idiot. So he's on parole. Baby daddy / co-defendant was on parole. He's going anyway. I have 3 felony warrants out of New York on a case that got dropped due to lack of evidence.
Kent showed to have a felony warrant out of Sydney Village, New York for robbery.
There, I already know that I'm going because I have felony warrants out of New York. So, you know, they pull us out of the car and they're searching the car and within 2 minutes they find it. But the whole time I'm like looking at this one officer and now I'm starting to think like, this is bad. This is not a routine stop. This is bad. Like, this is bad. So they pull up the dope, they arrest us, and I get taken to jail. Just to set the scene for you guys, there's DTF agents, there's patrol officers, you know, and it's just this whole big dramatic scene. They're trying to get my co-defendant to allow them to search the vehicle. He's saying, no, you can't search the vehicle. No, you can't search the vehicle, da 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 da. Unfortunately for my co-defendant, when you're on parole, you don't get an option. They're gonna search the car. He's like, well, I'm gonna call your parole officer, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, all right, call my parole officer. And of course they did. They got permission to search the vehicle and immediately they go right to the driver's side door. Under the steering column, they found 2 ounces of meth. Now, that's all they found. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like we're so lucky. I'll tell you why in a second. So obviously they're like, this is possession, you're both going to jail. They put him in one car, they put me in another. Now they're driving us to the jail. And as the cop car goes to pull out, now keep in mind, like they only found 2 ounces of meth. As the cop car that has me in it, we go to pull off, I see an agent get in our car, baby daddy's car, get in the car and drive away. They didn't impound the car, drove my car themselves to the impound lot. And my car was a manual transmission. So as this officer was shifting my car, you know, he shifted it too rough and a Glock fell out under the steering column. And that made me very nervous because there was a gun under the steering column. Now keep in mind, in the original search, they did not find that. So we drive away, we're almost to the police station. It was very close to where we were in downtown Fort Smith, and I hear over the radio, "Well, you never guess what I found." We're in the South. That's my best impression. And I'm like, I bet I fucking can. I'm in the back of the cop car, and I hear over the radio, "Oh, you'll never guess what I found." And I'm like, I bet I fucking can. And he said, you know, comes over the radio saying there's a gun under the steering column or whatever. You guys, like, that sucked. That sucked, because I really thought we got away with at least one charge. So they take us to jail. So they also found about $5,000 in the car that was seized, because if you get possession of drugs, possession with intent, they automatically say that you're a dealer. It doesn't matter if they can prove that or not. If you have over a certain amount, it's intent, which means intent to sell it, intent to distribute. And that's drug money. They will always say that. So they seized my assets, meaning my car and the money and all of that. And I'm in intake, and they have all that stuff on the freaking counter. You know, they have the dope and the gun, and they had found a hotel key, my Motel 6 room key. And one of the officers, I don't remember which one, but I remember this very specifically. Maybe my new cop friend will let me know which one it was, but he was in my face screaming at me because the door was jammed. And he's like, "What is in that room?" And I'm like, tweaker journals and some clothes, bro. And he's like, "No, what's in that? What is in that hotel room? If it's booby traps," blah, 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 screaming that there's a meth lab and his officers are gonna get hurt. And I'm like, whoa, you think I have a meth lab? I can get out of this. What? I was so high that I thought like, oh, they don't really know what I've been up to because they think I'm making meth. Like, that's crazy. Y'all are crazy. I'm getting out of all this. Girl, go to sleep. Eat a sandwich, shut up. But that was my brain. I was like, I can get out of this because they don't know what I'm really up to. Yes, they do. They actually know a lot more than I thought they knew. So anyway, moving on, because I already feel like this is extremely long. That cop is screaming in my face. His officers are gonna get hurt, that I've booby-trapped this room, that there's a meth lab in this room, and he's screaming. I just start laughing at him because I thought he was crazy. I'm like, are you messing with me, dude? Like, you're not serious, right? Do I look like a freaking chemist? I didn't even want to know the ingredients when I was using it, so I sure as hell wasn't trying to make it myself. A lot of people along the way try to tell me the recipe, and I'm like, whoa, you can just pump the brakes there. I don't need to know what I'm putting in my body. It's freaking terrifying. So I was just very against hearing anyone's recipe, even though plenty of people wanted to share it with me. I don't say anything to them, and I try to sleep it off. And about 3 or 4 days later, one of the correctional officers pulls me up front. And I'm telling you guys all of this for a reason. It's gonna make sense when I tell you why the plea agreement was so crazy and whatever. So a correctional officer comes to my cell and says, "Let's go up front." And now I already know what time it is. They want to question me, and I'm nervous. I looked at the clock, and I'm like, I have to be back in at least 5 minutes so no one thinks I'm gonna tell. I'm not rolling, like I gotta get back quickly. On the way up front, one of the officers stopped to talk to another officer, and they're supposed to be escorting me up there. So I'm like, the clock is ticking. I'm freaking frantic, you guys. I'm like, just let's get up there so I can tell you like, no, I'm not going. Like, I should have just refused all of it, you know, but I didn't want to make a scene, and I was also like out of my mind. So sure enough, they take me in this little room and they start interrogating me. They're doing the bad cop thing. They're screaming in my face, telling me I'm never gonna get out of prison, telling me this, telling me that, telling me like, New York's gonna put you in prison, so you're gonna serve all this time here and all this time there. But you can help us out and you can tell us where the drugs are coming in from, and then this can go away. I get brought into interrogation a few days later, and this cop is sitting across the table from me, and he says, "Narcotics unit, drug task force." And he says, you know, my name, where I'm from, that, you know, I'm gonna wanna cooperate with him and help him because it's really gonna help me and blah, 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 you know how they do. And at this point, I've had time to sober up. I'm not the crazy, pissed off, screaming person that you're arresting. No, I am now lawyering up, but it's too late. This officer pulls out a file, looks substantial, and pictures of inside of my car, and he shows me handing a big bag of meth in the back seat. So I had been selling to confidential informants for them for who knows how long. So they ended up charging me with delivery as well. Right there, I said, take me back to my cell. This agent, this DTF agent, looked so familiar. and I'm looking at him and I'm looking at someone else, obviously in charge across the room, and I was just like, holy shit, you've been following me for weeks. And my heart sinks. And I didn't say that. The only thing I said to him at this point was take me back to my cell. But it's coming back. Like, you didn't think I was stealing in Walmart. You were following me in Walmart. Like, I saw him in a car at a hotel. I saw him at a restaurant. And now it's like all hitting me at once. And I feel sick to my stomach. And they continue to yell at me. I don't feel good. It's very obvious that I'm like coming down and I feel like shit. So finally I'm just like, I want a lawyer. I just want a lawyer. And the agent says, damn right you want a lawyer. You want to see the pictures we have of you? Now keep in mind, the conversation should have stopped there. After I said I would like a lawyer, they're not supposed to talk to you. And I almost forgot to tell you this, when I was being arrested, no one read me my rights. Going to be able to get out of going back to prison. Nah, girl, you're going. But at the end of the day, I was tired and I didn't care. When they arrested me that night, I did not care. I was so done. I was so defeated. I was tired. I was sick. I did not want to do this anymore. I didn't want to sell anymore. I didn't want to use anymore. I was so done that it's either death or prison because I don't know what to do and I can't get myself out of it. Every single time I tried to get out of it, I got pulled back in by someone or something or my addiction or a circumstance, and it was impossible. It felt like to me at that time, I needed to be taken off the streets, I needed to be put in jail, I needed to go to prison, I needed all of that, and you, that night, pulling me over, helped contribute to saving my daughter's life. Yes, I did that. Yes, I stayed sober. Yes, I got her back. But if it wasn't for that moment, if it wasn't for getting arrested that night, who knows where I'd be? Who knows if I even would have survived? And I said, take me back to my cell. And he said, you really want to be the only person in this case that doesn't help us out, and you really want to serve time in prison on shit that can go away today? And I said, take me back to my cell. They did. And a few hours later, a correctional officer comes back to my cell and slides a paper underneath the cell door. It's a new booking sheet. On it, it said possession of 2 ounces of meth, delivery of meth, delivery of meth, delivery of meth, and a gun. So they hit me with 3 more deliveries because I was not cooperating with them. And they were just trying to scare me, and I knew that was gonna happen. So the cop